I'm Alice and welcome back to my channel, my latest bookception. First, welcome to, I think this is officially my first video of the new year. Woo! And with the new year comes more books to read. Before we get into this video, I really want to go over the way I want to do these wrap-up style videos. First of all, my goal is to make one every month, keep to that, so I can track it and know it inside and just know what I'm reading. Second, the format. I want to go through all the books I've read, maybe give a brief description of them, and really get into my thoughts. I want to keep it all non-spoilery to the best of my ability. If there is going to be any spoilers for books other than the basic synopsis and little things that I found very cute, mostly out of context, hopefully. If that ever becomes the case that I give a spoiler away, I will make a little spoiler warning. I want to end off with just some little statistics that I found because I am a math nerd. I'm going to school for engineering. I love math, so I compile some statistics that might grow over the course of the year and my course of doing this channel. But right now it's mostly the amount of pages I've read, what book was the longest, just my overall ratings of the month. My goal this year is to read 50 books. That's my Goodreads goal. My question for you that I want you guys to leave in the comments is, how many books do you want to read and how are you going to track them? Are you using Goodreads? Are you just doing a little bullet journal notebook? Are you just making a spreadsheet on your computer? Because I'm doing all three of those. Because like I said, I like tracking things and it's fun and cute. So in the month of January, as of the time of filming this, I've read 6 books. Woo! I'm already over the amount of books I need to read to reach 50, so I can either take a breath a month or not. Who knows? I don't. The first book I read this month was Super Fake Love Song by Yoon. This book follows Sunny Day, who is basically your quintessential nerd character. He likes D&D, he makes weapons in his, let me just say, that is so cool, he's very talented at it. But Sunny, along with his best friends Milo and Jamal, run a web series where they roleplay. And then a new girl moves to town, Cyrus, who his parents basically make him become her buddy to help her accumulate to America and this new school. And they first meet while Sunny is wearing his older brother's old t-shirt of a rock band. So in order to impress Cyrus, Sunny pretends he is in a rock band with his 2 best friends called the Immortal. Let me say, I did not like Yoon's first book, Frankly in Love, that much. I thought the characters were kind of annoying, and while there were parts of it that I really enjoyed, the book overall felt to me. Opposition, I absolutely adore this book. It's so fun. I love having to create a fake identity to get a girl, forming a rock band. That's such a trope that I am trash for. It's so fun. And the way that Sunny gets actually truly into this rock band is really fun to me because he never expected to like it. And I thought that was so fun of him just finding that he likes playing music. He might not be great at it, but he had fun while having to do that. I really enjoy how Jamal and Milo just are tired of this and they want to go back to doing their D&D stuff, but they can't because they told Sunny that they would do it, and I just think that's really fun. Overall, I love the characterizations of everyone. I think they're very distinct and very easy to grab onto at the beginning when you're meeting them, and then you find more nuance in all of these characters of how the way they were raised has affected them. And overall, this concept is just so fun, and Yoon does it so well. I just had a blast reading this book. I didn't want to stop reading it once it was over. The second book I read this month is What If It's Us by Becky, Alberta, and Silvera. This book has dual point of views from our leads, Arthur and Ben, who meet one day, accidentally meet in a postal office and have like a really cute meet cute as Ben is trying to return his ex-boyfriend's stuff. I'm gonna break down this by like characters of what I thought of them. Arthur is in New York for the summer. He has an internship with his mother's law firm. He absolutely adores musicals, and I just connect to Arthur so much. He's awkward, he doesn't really know what he's doing, especially if you get in a romantic setting. He loves musicals and just references them all the time, and like no one gets his references. And I'm just like, me too. No one gets any of my references that I make to musicals in my daily life. I'm just singing one verse from a musical. Someone says one word that reminds me of it. And then he's just always like nervous and not knowing if what he's doing is right because he's had no experience. I love Arthur and I very much relate to him. Ben comes from a lower class family. He just broke up with his boyfriend and is like very much trying to process that. Ben is also in summer school because of his ex-boyfriend. Ooh, he is really fun. He is also very nervous and anxious about this relationship because he doesn't necessarily want to get into it right away because he just broke up with someone, which very much understandable, but they just have a certain connection that they're both like, we met one day and then we somehow found each other again, which super cute. I love that. Being able to see it from both their perspectives is really nice. I love whenever books get that, especially contemporaries. I love like a very cute meet cute where everything happens but like one person just runs away because they're like, this is too much. I can't take this as a sign. I am just anxious about it. Super fun. And one thing that I love so much about this book are not Rama and Juliet and just their chemistry with each other. They just play off each other so well and they just go after Arthur being like, dude, just go for it. And they just have really fun banter, especially at Arthur. The lines just kept coming that I loved. They have my whole heart. I absolutely adore them. The third book I read this month is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika Sanchez. This book follows Julia, I think is how you say her name, in the 2 years after her sister Olga got hit by a car. It deals a lot with grief and processing of that grief. It delves a lot into Julia's mental state and like if she's okay or not. I'm going to say right off the bat, this book is not like a lighthearted book at all. It deals a lot with mental illness and grief and like expectations put on you by your parents that you're not sure you can take. There are some subjects in this book that if you have triggers are not necessarily great to read for you. I would not recommend it. Julia is such an interesting and complex protagonist. When I started this book, I thought she was going to be like, oh, you know, this title kind of makes you think she's a complete bad girl, doesn't follow any rules. But as you get into it more, you start thinking she isn't the worst person you can imagine. You see people that do things that are kind of worse. There is a slight love story in this. It doesn't really pick up until like halfway through the book. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna have a love story. That's fine. We don't need those in every YA book. And then we kind of hit it. And it feels like an awkward first love of neither party, Julia or her boyfriend, Connor, know exactly what they're doing. And it has like a very awkward feel to it, which I think is very intentional of how first love is. But I really did love how honest this book felt and how not living up to her parents' expectations has like taken a toll on Julia. Next up we have Slippan and Duff by Shelby Mahurin. I'm not sure how to say her last name. Sorry, Shelby. Of course she's watching this video. We all know who she is. This book also has two protagonists. Luis, who is a witch who ran away from her husband 2 years ago because of a mysterious thing that happened. We don't really know. In the 2 years after running away from the coven, she has become a thief and is actually pretty good at it. She doesn't really use her magic because it can attract the witches that want to find her. Reed is a chasseur captain who are witch killers and basically kind of religious zealots, slightly. After an incident, Louise and Reed are forced to get married, like not knowing each other, and they are everything different. If you've read Six of Crows, I would kind of say Nina and Matthias in that book are very much like Louise and Reed, of that dynamic. Louise is super fun. She has this really fun, like, repeating bit of just these super inappropriate songs, and since the chasseurs are all very, like, religious and, like, no sex unless you're married, they all feel super uncomfortable when she starts singing them, and that's why she sings them, and they're super funny. There's one that she has, like, a repeating gag of singing this specific song, and it just made me laugh so hard because it's just so ridiculous of the song. I had so much fun with that. Another one of my favorite things about this book is they call each other their wife and husband instead of, in like their brains, instead of calling them like their actual names, because they're so unfamiliar and they don't know each other, and it's super awkward. This is such a fun enemies to lovers book, which trope I am absolute trash for. I love it. I wish it was a bit more slow burn. Like, they got together like too fast in my opinion. I think it shouldn't have happened to like the end of the book, or maybe they started liking each other, because this is, I think, a duology, maybe a trilogy, not sure on that bit. I know there's one more book out already. And so I wish they would have only started to like accept each other and then actually fall in love in the second one. But the ending was a bit like slow, like I thought it should have sped up. The pacing was a bit iffy. Louise and Bass are super fun, and I'm really upset that he was in the beginning and then like a small bit in the middle and we don't see him again in the rest of this book. The fifth book I read this month is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Carroll. Now, this book is a bind-up of the first and second books. I've only read Alice's Adventures. I haven't read Through the Looking Glass yet, so you'll probably see this book again. But I've never actually sat down and read the original book. I've seen the Disney movies countless times because I love Disney. But I got this book a couple years ago, and I was just really in the mood for like a good, like, easy children's book. I was expecting a book that would be super, like, my brain did not have to work. Your brain has to work so hard to, like, figure out, because a lot of this is, like, written very poetically, and, like, all of it's meant to be taken literal, but, like, it took me a bit more focus than I was expecting to have to read with this. But overall, it was super cute. I love how just random the plots are, and, like, even more random than the movie. Because I did then watch the movie after this, and this book is just so random, but like in a good way. It's like 92 pages. It's very short, and I mean, I don't know if I could have taken more than 100 pages of this at a time, but I did read it really fast. I genuinely did enjoy it. I just don't know how much I would be rereading this book. And the last book I read was American Royals by Katharine McGee. This book has 4 protagonists, so that's a bit much. It like has 4 love stories, which I think I'm not really going to explain this book. I'm just going to break down into the love squares and then each couple within those squares of my review, I think. So first up, we have Princess Beatrice and Connor, along with Princess Samantha and Teddy. Princess Beatrice is the heir to the American throne because this is an alternative history where instead of becoming president, George Washington became king of America. And that kind of led to like all the countries staying with monarchs and never having democracy, which I guess we're gonna talk about that part first. My big complaint is like the fact that no one else became a democracy. Like, democracy has been around since like the ancient Greeks. Like, they're the ones that are said to like have created democracy. And the fact that like no one else in the world wanted to create a democracy, they all just wanted to be like kingdoms, usually run by a king or a queen or an emperor or something like that. It's just a bit ridiculous to me. and that's like where I could not suspend my like disbelief. But anyway, Beatrice is the heir to the American throne, and she gets engaged to Theodore, who is, I think he's a duke or a lord, one of the two, I think, not sure. But she is in love with her like bodyguard Connor, who like was with her last year in college, and they just create a bond. I think they're really cute. But then the other half of this love square is Theodore and Princess Samantha. Samantha is a twin, and she is the middle child of the, royal family. Being the middle child, she really like pushed against that and like wanted to just do what she wanted to do and like party. She's like the wild child and really taken from the media because of it, even though she's the same amount of wildness as her brother, but because he's a guy and sexism. She meets Theodore at a ball, but they then come to find out that Theodore is engaged to be with Beatrice, and neither of them knew that was going to happen when they met. I don't know, we haven't gotten very many interactions with them as a couple. I think more of that will be in like the second and third books, but we didn't get very much of them. Then the other love square in this is Prince Jefferson and Nina Gonzalez, along with Daphne and Ethan. Ethan is Jefferson's best friend, and Nina is Samantha's best friend. Nina and Jefferson, for the most part, they're pretty cute, but Nina continues to get like really insecure about herself because she's just a common person. And I get that because she doesn't want a public relationship and to be a public figure because she's always been in the shadows with that. And Jefferson doesn't really understand that for a while. And then we got Daphne and Ethan, who aren't really a couple throughout most of the book, but there was always hints at them and little remarks that Ethan makes that he likes her, which I think is kind of cute. Daphne just wants to be a princess pretty much and wants Jefferson because of his title. And she's kind of annoying, but like, I understand her for some reason. Like, I would never do the things she did, and I don't care about that type of stuff. But like, I see where she's coming from, and the way she's been raised to act like that makes sense. So like, I can't hate her. Okay, and now on to some little statistics. We're gonna grab my laptop because I have them written down. With the 6 books I read a total of 2,206 pages and an average book length of 367 pages. In ratings, I had 1 5-star book, 3 4-star books, and 2 3-star books, giving an average rating of 3.83 stars per book. The shortest book I read was 96 pages, which was Alice in Wonderland, and the longest book I read had 513 pages, being Serpent and Duff. Overall, I hope you have a great day. If you want to, please like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that people actually enjoy my content, and I'm gonna reiterate it like I said at the beginning of this video. What is your goal for reading books this year? Mine's 50. I use so many different ways to track it. How do you guys track it? But really, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.